Okay, beautiful people. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this live broadcast. Good afternoon, PTM. Good afternoon, PTM. Good afternoon, Facebook. Good afternoon, YouTube. Okay, I think that looks better. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this live broadcast. My name is Maribeth Chima, and I am your host of the PTM Hangout. All right, so PTM Hangout is that show. Hey, Amalala, good to have you here right on time. Okay, so PTM Hangout is that show, is that live session where we come and we talk about parenting issues. All right, so welcome. If you're with me, please, just like Dr. Bolara, don't just background. Let's hang my mouth somewhere. Okay, sorry. Don't just stay in the background, please. Let us know you're with us. Let us know that you're hanging out with us today. Yes, let us know you're hanging out and let us know where you're joining us from. My name is Maribeth Chima, as I said, and I am streaming live from the capital city of Nigeria. I'm streaming live from Abuja. Yes. So today we're talking about activities that we can do with our children to help our children, to help them develop skills that will make them thrive. Okay? Now, children will grow, right? I mean, if you've been following me, you would have heard this many times. Children will grow no matter what, provided they are eating food, they have water, and they have medical care. They will grow and they will survive. But as intentional parents, we don't just want to raise children who will survive. We want to raise children who can thrive. So that's what we're looking at today. And there's a post I had in the group yesterday, I think, and in that post I said that it is not every lesson that needs to be taught. In fact, the best lessons are not the ones that we actually teach with the whiteboard or with steps and instructions and all of that. The best lessons are the ones that we actually pull our sleeves up and then get down and do, because the best way to learn is by doing. When you do it, you actually internalize and it becomes a part of you. And research has shown that this works very, very well for children. So that's why most of the best educational approaches, what's all this? Most of the best educational approaches that we have will recommend that your children work in natural environments. We recommend that children do hands-on activities. We recommend that children are involved in their learning and not just made to follow instructions. And why is it so difficult to get it? Sorry, 1 second. It's uncomfortable. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so most of the best educational approaches will recommend that children are hands-on and children are involved in their own learning and not just being instructed and told what to do. Okay, so that's what we're looking at today. What are those ways that are not necessarily you using the whiteboard or you giving instructions or steps of instructions, and yet you can get your children to learn skills and learn habits and learn character and learn all that they need to actually thrive on their own. Right. So raising children is such a beautiful thing, right? If you're a parent, you know this already. Okay. Raising children is such a beautiful thing. But a lot of times, as parents, we don't enjoy the full benefits. Okay. We don't enjoy the full benefit of it and all the learning, the lesson, the memory, the wonderful things that come with parenting. And that's because we may be parenting, but we're not totally involved in our parenting. Okay, so there's that phase when our children are pretty young, where we're really excited. Hi, Christabel, welcome. Okay, so there's this stage where our children are really young and we're really excited that they depend on us. That phase where you know that when your child is afraid, he runs to you and then he holds you like really tight. It gives you a sense of importance. It gives you a sense of, a sense of a mini savior kind of thing, a mini savior, a mini God kind of thing. You know that you are everything to this child. So there is that phase in our lives where our children run to us for everything, and all of that. And we are excited and we get carried over. Now, what happens at that point is we find ourselves doing everything to protect them, doing everything to make them happy, doing everything to provide for them. And it's really a good feeling, right? It's really a good feeling knowing that someone needs you, someone depends on you. And so you are glad to be there, to be available, providing everything that they need for them, right? Now, a lot of us do not transition from that phase where our children need us and we are there for them. Okay, so we stay on there and we're doing this for our we finish doing this for our kids when they are infants, and then they become toddlers and we are still there providing for them, doing everything for them, being there for them running to us, and we feeling like mini saviors and feeling like mini gods, like alpha and omega in their lives, quote and unquote, and then after that you get carried away. As I said, before you know it, your toddler is 4, it's 5, and you're still saving. Your toddler becomes 6 and you're still saving. Okay, and then after that they go to the next phase. Now, what we do at this next phase is we get other people to begin to do the things for them. Okay, so we step back. Okay, if we have another toddler, we concentrate on that one. And then we step back a little because, of course, you're overwhelmed. There's work, there's this and that. Or they have just they've moved away from that cute little baby that needs me kind of place, and then they've moved to the next level. And so what we do is we make available, okay, other people, okay, who would be there supporting them. Hey Z, it's good to have you. So we provide other people who will take the task away from us. So we have all the cooks, and I'm not saying they're wrong, though. So you have all the cook, all the nannies, all the everybody that's taking care of all of their needs and all of that. And you're still carried away, forgetting that this human being is an individual and that your biggest role as a parent is to help nurture this person, to help train up this person, to help raise this person to be a rounded human being such that the person can navigate life on their own even without you, right? So we get carried away. Okay, we start when they are very young, when they are toddlers, when they're providing everything that they need and being there and doing everything for them. And then they grow, and then the next thing, we get other people to begin to support them and do everything for them. So these people do it at our children before we know it. And you know how fast they grow, these children, right? You know how fast they grow. Before you know it, your child is not 8 anymore. Your child is 9, and is 10, 11, and 12. And he has all kinds of people supporting him, all kinds of people making sure that his food is ready, his clothes are washed, his clothes are ironed, his wardrobe is tidy, his room is tidy, that he goes to school early. Everybody else is responsible for his life except he himself or herself. All right, so we get carried away. We do not even realize that this is what we are doing to ourselves, or this is what we are doing to our children. Okay, so this brings me to this very, very important, quote, right? And it is that children will only apply the skills that they have. They will not apply skills that they do not have, because all of a sudden you find out you have a preteen with you. You find that you have a teenager and you begin to make demands, because all of a sudden you can see that you went to Mr. A's house and it was the teenager that attended to you. You go to your sister's place, you go to your friend's house, or you are somewhere, you travel, and then you see another child about the age of your child doing so much. And then you now come home and begin to you not come home and have expectations. You come home and begin to make demands of your child all of a sudden, because you can see another child that is doing the things that your child cannot do. It may not even be that. You could be one of those parents like us that say, oh, we don't compare our children. Oh, I never will compare my children with anybody. But hey, somewhere that voice, that voice inside of you, that voice of truth wakes you up one day and says to you, this child is 13, this child is 15, and will not go out of his way to help you out when you are in a situation, or when you are, you have a lot of pressing things and you need to do something at home, and your 15-year-old cannot say to you, it's okay, mom, I got that. Or it's okay, daddy, let me help you with that. All of a sudden, you wake up and you realize, okay, something is not right. Then you begin to make demands of these children. You begin to have expectations. Now, as I said, your child will not apply skills that they do not have. So yes, if your child is, going past items on the floor, okay, he sees items that are in the wrong place and he just crosses and goes on. Or your child is sitting right here and everything around here is really filthy, and he's sitting down right here and playing a game without even minding. The reason your child cannot see what you see is because your child does not have the skill to even recognize that this thing is wrong or this thing is right. So no, children will not exhibit skills that they do not have. So yes, if you have not trained them with those skills, if you have not trained them with certain habits, if you have not involved them in certain ways of life, no, your child will not exhibit these skills. They will not exhibit these things. And so having expectations of such children or placing demands on such children is not exactly fair. Okay, it's not exactly fair. So children will only exhibit skills that they have. You better know this, parents, and decide what skills you would like your children to exhibit, meaning you would have to do something about it. Okay? Now, knowing and application are two different things. I've said this before. Knowing and applying are two different things, because what we have, okay, more often than not, is during those times that you are pissed at the fact that your child is not doing something that he's supposed to do, or after you come back from that trip or from that visit that you have seen another person their age doing a particular thing, what you now do is what? You begin to scold and you begin to shame the child. Look at you. You don't even know how to do anything. All you know how to do is eat food. Go to Auntie this person's house. Chinedu can do all of these things. Is it not your mate? Is it not your mate? That's what you begin to do. So what you're doing at that point is you are telling the child what he's supposed to do. If you actually check, you would realize that these children actually know what to do. They have an idea what to do. They have an idea what is actually right and what is actually wrong, because you scold them about these things every time. They are human beings, so they know these things. They see other people do these things. They watch these things on TV, okay, or they see their friends doing these things. But truth about it is knowing and doing are two different things, okay? So, knowing and application are two different things. And until a child does something on their own, they never get the confidence that says to them, you can do this thing. Okay? So that is why children need to do. If they are not doing, they continue to think that they don't have that confidence, that boldness that make them go on and do a particular thing until they have tried it on and until they are able to achieve that thing. So if you are that parent that gets carried away with doing and doing, and then after you finish doing, you get other people to come and start doing and doing for your children, and then all of a sudden you wake up one day when they are in their preteens or late preteens or in their teenage, and you begin to expect them to do those things. No, you're not going to get this. You're going to put yourself under a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, and a lot of overwhelm, and you're going to do the same thing to your child, because you'll be making demands and you will be expecting skills from the child that does not have the skill. So the reason your child does not do a lot of things, or the reason your child cannot achieve certain things, is because your child does not have the skill required to do that thing. That's one. Another thing is the child can eventually see these things. You talk about it, as I said, you see it, talk about it, other people talk about it, and all of that. But they are not able to self-direct. They can't direct themselves to do it when someone is not nudging them, or someone is not pushing them, or someone is not forcing them. That is because your child has not practiced this skill enough to gain mastery or to internalize the skill. So yes, before certain skills can be achieved, because before certain skills can be mastered, they must be practiced. So practice is what leads to the ability for your children to exhibit skills. Please, as you're getting nuggets from this session, please put it down in the comments. Let us see. Okay, let us see them in the comments as you're getting nuggets from this. All right. If you're with me, if you're following me, please let me know you're with me. Let me know if you're getting value. And if you have a friend or someone who needs to be here, this is the time to invite them. This is the time to tag them on the post. Okay. And before I continue, let me stop and ask you, have you registered for the PTM yearly conference or annual conference? Okay, PTM conference comes up 7 days, like exactly 1 week from now. So by this time next week, we will be giving you value back to back. And by this time next week, we will be bringing, as in, we will be bringing 13 speakers from Thursday to Sunday. Don't worry, we didn't want to overwhelm you, so we stretched the days, okay, so that we are not, we don't have too many speakers on one day. So we'll have just about 3 speakers. Some people have been asking, where is it taking place? Where is it? We're going to be streaming live both on Facebook and on YouTube. Okay, so if you have a friend, you have a sister, you have a brother, you have a family, you have friends, you have colleagues, your whole village people that are raising children or are lovers of children, then if you have not invited them here, yes, you're doing them a disservice. This is the time to invite them. Yes, so PTM Annual Conference 2022 is going to be the bomb, banger, back to back, back to back. All right, you should look at the list. You should look at the list of speakers that we have. I mean, there are so many speakers we would have loved to have, but we know that, I mean, there's no point bombarding you with so many speakers, right? When we can have, a few who will come and then give you all the knowledge that you need and you can take and begin to run with. So yes, we're bringing to you seasoned speakers, coaches and experts in their fields. These are people that we're bringing to you, and it's going to be an amazing 4 days. You do not want to miss it. Let me add this also. If you are parenting alone, or you are parenting and not you're not ensuring that your friends, the people in your circle, the people in your family, if you're not ensuring that they are also being intentional and parenting in the same way that you're parenting, you will be causing a lot of stress. Okay. Hi, I'm Inafraji. Hi, Juliet. Good to see you. You will be causing a lot of stress or a lot of strain on your parenting, because what will happen is you will do all the work, but the people that your children mingle with, the people that your children that are part of your life, are not on the same page with you. Now, when this is the case, it will sabotage your effort. So that's why we always say you are not parenting for yourself alone. Okay, ensure that the people your children interact with, the people that your children have in their life, also are on the same page with you. They know the same things you know. They know about the same thing that you know, and then you have, your values are in sync. That is the best way that you can do it. So that's the reason why you need to invite such people to be a part of what we do here. And the conference is a perfect time for you to invite anybody. All right, the conference is a perfect time for that. Okay. All right. So knowing and application, as I said, are two different things. So your child may know that it is right to do a particular thing, but your child has not been taught or has not been brought into practicing that thing, okay, and practicing it continuously. There is a place of consistency in raising children. You need to be consistent as a parent. You need to be consistent with whatever you're teaching your children, whether it's skill, whether it's habits. You need to be consistent. If you are not consistent, you confuse the children. If today you do it in a particular way, tomorrow you do it in another way, next tomorrow you don't even do anything at all, you're confusing the brain of the child. The child does not know what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. So it's very important that you are consistent with whatever habits, whatever skill, or whatever it is that you are values that you are raising your children with. Very, very key on your journey. Okay, very, very key on your journey. So, what happens, as I said, you wake up one day and then all of a sudden you realize your child is old enough, and yet you do not have, the child does not have the skill to support you, to support other people, or to support themselves. Now, some of us will now do this. We now look at it, okay, he's 11 right now, he doesn't even have all these skills. So, what do I do? You wrap them, bundle them, and you look for one boarding school. Now, these days, what we do is we say we want the ones, the boarding school that they have the fear of God, okay? Because somewhere along the line, okay, I need someone to get me the fan here. My AC just stopped working. All right. So somewhere along the line, you imagine that, oh, when they go to that place, that the moral values are going to be high, and so these people will teach your children about God. They will teach your children skills. They'll teach them about God. They will teach them good habits. They will teach them, about education. They will teach them. Only these people in school will teach your children all of these things. And then we keep pretending. Why are you pretending? Did you not go to a boarding school? Do you not know how a boarding school runs? Right? Do you not know how this place is run? Is it like when your children get off their classrooms and they go to their hostels? Is it like the matron is living there in that room with them? Is it like the housemasters are living right there with them? So chances are, even in the boarding school, your child is more amongst other students. Your child is more amongst other children, right? In the boarding school than he is around anyone that's going to be teaching him any skill at all. So the truth about boarding school is not where your children should go and learn skills. Don't get it twisted. It is not in boarding schools that your children will learn skills. It is from home that your children will learn the skills that they need. What they do in boarding school is boarding school offers them the opportunity to apply. Remember, I said that learning, right? Learning and knowing are not the same thing as application. So your boarding school is where your child is supposed to have the opportunity to launch all that you have taught them, all the skills that you have taught your children. They are supposed to go to boarding school and, without your supervision, become independent enough to use all that you have taught them, apply them, and then thrive in that system. That's what a boarding school is. So that we don't get it twisted. We don't save our children, save our children, save our children. I was talking to Coach Wendy, we were talking about this yesterday. Such, a deep conversation we had about this. You save your children, you save your children, you save your children. When you're done saving them, you bring in people, employ people to save them some more, save them some more, save them some more. Then when they get to the point, you realize that they're becoming individuals, they are becoming autonomous. So what do? You bunch them to a boarding school. You dump them there because there they don't have a choice. They will have to do as they are told to do. So you're expecting that they won't teach your children skills in the boarding school. Even if they would try. Imagine someone trying to teach 100, 200, 300 children, or someone trying to teach 30 children in one class a skill, as opposed to having to teach 1, 2, 3, or 4 children. It can't be the same. But no, the boarding school will not teach your children these skills. Even when they introduce some of these things to your children, they do not hang in there. They do not stay in there to have your children practice, become consistent until they gain mastery. So for those of us who push our children to boarding schools thinking that the boarding schools would do the job that we have refused to do, what happens is your children are introduced to these skills right under duress. Your children go in there, and because they lack the skills, right, that they need to thrive. So what happens? There is that senior. There is the senior that is there. There is the housemaster. There are all these people who are there to make your children feel bad about the fact that they don't have this skill. So what do? They yell at the child. They punish the child. They force the child. They push the child. So your child is learning this. Your child is introduced to this skill in a stressful way. Okay, and it comes with shouting and yelling and punishment and shaming and all of that. So yes, the child does not internalize this skill naturally like they would do when you introduce them at home over the years. Now, that's another thing. Skills they are not achieved automatically. Skills do not happen overnight. It takes time to build skills. Someone please write it down for us. It takes time to build skills. Skills do not happen overnight. Skills are not achieved overnight. It takes time to build skills. And skills learned under duress cannot be internalized. Skills learned under duress are not appreciated. So, yes, when your children go and they are shamed and they are beaten and they are talked down at because they don't have certain skills, right? And they are forced to have those skills. They do it under fear. They do it under duress. They do it feeling ashamed. They do it under all of this situation. And at home, of course, you're there clapping for yourself and saying, yes, 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 I've taken him to school. When he gets there, he's going to learn. When he gets there, it's not the same thing. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not the same thing as when you actually teach them these skills at home. So, yes, the boarding school, if you take nothing else, take this, that the boarding school is not where your child is going to go learn skills. The boarding school is not where you dump your children so that people can fix them and repair them and then fix all the things that you have refused to fix in the 10, 11, 12 years that you had this child. Now you want to dump them and you want someone to force all those skills in a matter of 1, 2, 3, 5, or 6 years. You are not doing this child such a great favor. Okay, you are not at all. All right, you're not at all. All right, so I said you're not. Okay, so even worse, right? Now I finished talking about boarding school. Now there are those of us who have not sent our children to boarding school here yet. See us here. So there's those of us who have not sent our children to boarding schools yet. So even as I am talking now, you're saying, hey, that's it now. That's why I said I cannot send my children to boarding school. It's even worse for the children at home. Yes, you heard me right. It's even worse for the children at home, especially if you're not intentional. Or more like, it is worse for the children at home who do not have parents who are intentional about these skills and these habits. So what happens is after you have finished saving them, okay, the next thing you bring in people who will save them some more. All right. Now, while these ones are saving them some more, your children do not even have the ability to navigate anything on their own. At least the child in the boarding school will be forced, right? The child in the boarding school will be forced, and the child in the boarding school will have to learn to navigate somewhat on his own, right? Whether he has the skill or he doesn't have the skill, because there isn't going to be any choice. So the child in the boarding school will have to go and look for water when there is no water. The child in the boarding school will have to fix his problem when he has any. The child in the boarding school will have to look out for himself and all of that. Now, your child at home, first of all, just like the one in the boarding school that has been pushed to go and learn skills in the boarding school, doesn't even have the skills at home. Now, two, the child doesn't even have the opportunity to try and navigate or try to, problem solve or do anything on his own. So he's even at a disadvantage, a more disadvantage now. Because right here at home, there can't be no water now. How? You will sort out water. How? You will make sure that there's water at home. He doesn't have to do anything else. You make the food is available, whether he does it or he doesn't do it. Whether he wakes up early or he doesn't wake up early, someone will ensure that he goes to school. Whether he's involved or he's not involved, everything is done, everything is put in place. So yes, not only does the child at home not have the skills required to thrive, he also is not allowed to try and problem solve and navigate on his own at all. So your child at home that you are not deliberate about teaching skill has a double barrel to his head. So it is ×2 for your child at home. So the child in school is even better off, right? Because, hey, he doesn't have the skill. He's being forced to learn the skill under duress and all of that. But, hey, he is learning to survive somehow. He's learning to navigate somehow. He's learning to take care of himself somehow because he's out there, exhibiting or, learning to be independent. So you see, either way, a parent who is not intentional about raising children with the skills that will help them thrive is sabotaging that child either way, whether you take them to boarding school or you leave them at home with you. In fact, your child that is at home with you is in double jeopardy. That's the truth about it. Okay, so let me bring in at this point, dear parents, that our role as parents is actually to raise children who can cope and who can navigate without us. That is one of your major roles as a parent, that you are able to raise children with skills, with habits, with values, with character. You're able to raise children with boundaries, children that can cope on their own, children that can thrive on their own, children that can navigate this world on their own. And yes, children will not navigate, it will not happen automatically. Okay, it is something that happens one step, one phase after the other. So at every phase there is the skill that is required. At every phase there is what is required towards the ultimate goal of raising your child to be able to navigate on their own. So if you are one of those that usually would say, leave all these things, I beg. Have you seen a person that does not know how to tie his shoelace? I've heard someone say that to me. All this stress, children this, children that. I beg, when the time comes, they will know how to do these things. But you keep forgetting that the skills that are needed, you keep looking at the task and not what the task is meant to achieve. There are so many skills that our children, so many attributes and virtues and skills that our children gain just by trying. It's not just about achieving that thing. That's why we are not so focused on the outcome, okay, of the process as opposed to the process itself. I am more concerned about the process than I am concerned about the outcome of the process. So no, I am not one of those parents that will come and yell and get angry with my child because he did not come tops on his class. It really doesn't matter. If I have seen him make the effort to do well, if I've seen him make the effort towards that thing, okay, that end result is not the big, it's not my focus, basically. All right. So if you can begin to look at things that way, if you can begin to look at the journey, you can begin to look at the process, right? And not just the task. So it's not about the person lacing their shoes. It's about the person taking responsibility. At 6, he understands that it's my responsibility to lace my shoe. At 6, he's struggling with lacing his shoe and he stays on there and he tries and tries. Therefore, thereby gaining resilience, right? Okay, he's gaining resilience while he's at it, trying on his own. It's about him problem solving. Why am I not able to do this today? I did it 2 days ago. I did it yesterday. Why am I not able to do it today? And he's able to look at it. Okay, maybe there's something wrong why I'm not being able to achieve it today. Maybe there's something I'm not doing right. Your child is problem solving. Your child is thinking. I hope you know about that statistics that says how many percentage of you, only about 5% of people, only about 1% of people actually think. 5% actually think that they think. The rest of us do not even think. So if you don't get your children into this kind of place where, through these things that they do, right, you don't allow them get into the space where they begin to problem solve, they begin to think, they begin to, try and fix these things. How are they going to gain confidence? How are they going to gain self-reliance? How are they going to gain resilience? How are they going to be independent? This is why we introduce these things to our children, not because they will not be able to lace their shoe when they are 20. So no, don't allow your child be and allow people do everything for them and say to yourself, when he's 18, he'll be able to do it someday. I've said this many times. When you see that 30-year-old, that 40-year-old that is struggling, the reason why they are struggling is not necessarily because they spent the last 5 years of their lives not learning. The reason why they are struggling a lot of times could be what was not in place in their foundation between when they are 0 and 7. So yes, parents, there is so much that is on us. So much that is on us if we would just be truthful to ourselves. Okay? So it is important to find balance. It is important to find balance between caring for your child and allowing your child to be independent. So, right from when your children are toddlers, at every point you want to find the balance between caring for your child and helping the child become independent. And every human being was created to be independent. Every animal was created to be independent. That's why you see, even amongst the animals, the babies, the little ones, are with their parents for a period of time. After that, the parents will chase them. I mean, go watch animals. After that, the parents will chase them. After that, the parents do not even recognize them. Even amongst some kinds of animals, the parents mount their female children later in life because, hey, when they are done with nurturing you, and almost every animal will nurture, right? When they're done with nurturing you and that phase comes, they separate themselves from you. So, no, every human being was raised to be independent. It is part of the purpose of God that your child is independent. So, if you are not raising a child to be independent, you are not obeying the word of God. If you're not raising your child to be independent, you are doing that child a disservice. That is the truth about it. So quickly, we're going to look at these activities that we're talking about. Okay, and if you know me, I always start from the cradle. I always start from the cradle, and a lot of what I'm going to be sharing with you are personal experiences. Okay, so the first thing you want to do, I don't know if I ever come here and talk about children and what you can achieve with your children without talking about play. Okay, so the first activity you would have to do with your toddler, with your infant, the first activity that you would have to do with your infant, okay, is to play. You have to allow your children play, because it is through exploration. When children are playing, when children are exploring, that is where children will understand the world around them. It is when your child takes a glass and he throws it around that he understands that this material actually breaks. Yes, so if we don't allow our children, I saw something that who was it now? I think it was Coach Wendy or someone. Yeah, I think it was Coach Wendy. I saw something. If you don't allow your children do dangerous things carefully, you will not be empowering them. I mean, this statement, you can take this statement to any bank and cash on it. If you do not allow your children do dangerous things in the most careful way, you will not be raising them to thrive. You won't be raising them to thrive. So yes, it is when your child leaves that bottle and he throws it, okay, that he understands that this one makes a certain kind of noise. So when you see your toddler rolling things, hitting things, and tossing things around, it's not because he is what's it called? He's just being stupid. It's because the toddler is trying to understand that material. It's because your little child is trying to understand the things around him. Remember that when children are born, right, they knew nothing before they came. So they would have to interact with these things, right? Hi, Peter. Hey, bro. Hello. Or Kubo, blessings. Good to have you. Hi, Joy. Thank you, everyone who is joining us. Okay. All right. As we're going, please, if you have someone who needs to be here, please tag them on this video. Let them come and be a part of this. Okay. Tag them on the video, and all that. If you're learning from this, please let us know that you're learning. If you get a punchline, please put it right there in the comments. Okay? So your child is trying to understand the world. So when your child takes this ruler and he throws it around, he does this, he tries to do this. It is only when he does this that he realizes that he can't break this easily. So sometimes you will see them struggling to try and break this, because probably yesterday he actually took a little broomstick and he broke it, and he saw that he could break that. So now the child is wondering, why can't I break this? So he tries, tries. This is the time where you just watch them and you smile. The child is trying to understand the world around him. The child is exploring at this point. Okay? A lot of times, the reason we don't have people in this part of the world who are innovators, who are creative, who are creating, is because we kill their creative juices. We sap out their creative juices by the many. Stop it. Drop that thing. Leave that place. Get out of there. That's how we stifle our children. That's how we stop them from exploring. We stop them from being creative simply because of all the stop this and stop that and stop this and stop that. What you need to do is you need to put only, create a scene or create a stage in your home where you bring in materials that are safe. You can actually have glass materials, right? But you see those heavy, very, very heavy kinds of glass kinds of glass. Okay, and the only time you introduce this in your child's play will be when you are playing with the child. So you are there, you probably have a soft landing for it. You have a soft landing for the material. You're sitting down and you're playing together, and you can introduce such materials at that point. So your child will raise and will play, and you're there, to take precaution and ensure that the child does not harm himself. But children need to learn to do dangerous things in safe ways. It is part of learning. This is how they learn to thrive. This is how they learn to understand the things around them. This is how they gain knowledge of the world around them. It's a core subject, right, in early years education. It's a core subject in foundation stage education, that the children have knowledge and understanding of their world. And this is their world, basically. The items in your space, the things around them, the weather, the things around them, the things that they see, the things they touch, the things they smell, the things they taste, and all of that. So if you're not allowing your children taste these things, touch these things, so why do you think your child is constantly putting everything in his mouth? Because at that level, everything your child is learning. Your child is very sensory in his learning, okay, when they are infants and when they are that little. They're very sensory in their learning. So the only way that they understand anything, isn't that how we all understand anything anyway? The way that they understand the things in their environment is by touching, by seeing, by feeling, by tasting, basically. Are those not our sense organs? So yes, when a new thing is introduced in your child's environment, he wants to taste it, he wants to touch it, he wants to feel it, so all of those things your child is doing, that is the scientist in your child, right? That is the researcher in your child. That is the creative in your child. That is the innovator in your child. That is it launching itself. Okay, that is the scientist in your child launching himself or launching itself. And a lot of times, what do? We stifle these things, we shout on them, we stop them, and all of that. So if you're going to raise children who will have skills that will allow them thrive, you must allow them be explorers. Take your children out. Let them play with sand. Let them play with mud. Let them cook gongoni food. Let them do all of that. Let them roll in the mud. When it's raining, some of us, every time it's raining, pneumonia, they'll be fall sick. Let your children go in the rain. Let them splash. Let them put their legs in mud. Let them splash water. Let them understand their environment. Take your children for nature walk. Let them touch plants. Let them smell plants. Let them figure out why one plant is different from the other. Have conversations with your children while they are doing this. Have conversations with your toddler. Take them to the park. Sit down there. Watch them interact. Allow them interact with people. Let them make new friends on their own. Let them have conflicts. Let them resolve those conflicts. Allow your children, launch your children into a world where they can explore and they can figure out the world on their own. And then you can be right there to nip what needs to be nipped in the bud, to explain the things that need explanations, and then to correct perceptions that are wrong. After, of course, you have listened to the child. So that's number one. I'm giving you 10 Let's move. Number 2, allow your children do chores. Jesus Christ. How can I start with this chore matter? If your children are not doing chores, you are not being good to your child. There is appropriate chore for every age. Get your children to doing appropriate chore for every age. Okay, get your children doing appropriate chore for every age. So your child at every point must have a specific chore that is his responsibility. If you're going to teach your children about responsibility, then you need to teach them chores. Okay, if you're going to teach your children about problem solving, then you need to introduce them to doing chores. If you are going to teach your children about higher functioning, abilities and skills, you will have to introduce chores. Children need to wake up in the morning with a sense of responsibility. The reason why we have a lot of people who just wander around in this part of the world, the reason why we have people who go to offices and they get into their offices and do not bother with the work of the day. Someone walks into the office, drops her bag. The moment she drops her bag, she starts having a conversation, probably something that happened on social media or something that is trending on social media. You know what I'm talking about. You will see a woman, you will see someone's father come to work in the morning, drop her bag, and turns to her colleague. Did you see that thing on social media? That girl, did you see? God, it's her mother's fault. Is the school? Is the one? Is this? Is it that? Before you know it, you will have that conversation till lunchtime. You have that conversation till lunchtime. You go, you grab something to eat, or you bring your food and spread it out on the table. And then you finish eating. When you finish, you drink your water, you close it. Hey, what did the guy even say? And there's this file. I will do it before I go. You dump it. Conversation will continue and all of that. Where do you think it's coming from? It's coming from you did not wake up every morning with a sense of responsibility. You were not raised to think that you have responsibilities. And until you do those responsibilities or you attend to those responsibilities, no other person is going to do it. So we raise children who do not have a sense of responsibility. So right from when your children are 2, right from when your child can stand and move on his own, let the child wake up every morning with a sense of responsibility. Let them wake up knowing that this particular lifting this roll from this table to where it belongs is my responsibility. Let your child know that. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3, personal management. Let your child be responsible for their management, for themselves, as soon as they are old enough to recognize that this is me and I'm a human being. The moment your child understands himself as an individual, the moment your child begins to say to you, no. Why is your child saying no to you? Mama, go and give me that. No. Why is he saying no? Because he understands that he is a human being. She is a human being, and she can actually say no to you. The moment you realize your little children, your 1 year, 2-year-old, actually, in many cases, they're actually bolder than your older children, because at this point, they don't even recognize fear yet. You have not shown them that you're a catcher yet. You have not started whooping them and doing all of those things that make them afraid. So your little children are not afraid of you, the way the older ones will understand your wrath are, right? So your little child will actually look and say to you, no. The moment your child is saying no is because your child understands that he is an autonomy. He understands that he is an individual and he has a right and he can actually use that right. Now, many times, the reason our children grow up to be timid, the reason our girl children, our boy children, the reason, hi, Kema, it's good to have you. Hello, Chinonso, Likita, good to see you. Hello, okay, everyone that is here, I salute you. All right. So the reason, some of us will come and say, I don't know, my child is so timid. Everybody controls him and all of that. You killed it at home. You killed it at home most often. The point, our children, the natural instinct is as soon as they recognize that they are individuals, as soon as they understand their autonomy, they begin to say no to you. So you can say no, do they no? And then what do? You take all that no away from their mouth. Did you say no to me? Pow. Don't talk to me like that. Pow. You take all the no from them. And then, God forbid, 5, 8 years down the line, someone from nowhere comes and molests the child and they say, why couldn't the child say anything? Why didn't the child say anything? They say, oh, it's because the person threatened them, they are going to kill them. No, in many cases, they don't even have to threaten them that they are going to kill them. The child does not even know how to say no. You took that away from the child. You taught them not to say no. You taught them not to stand for themselves. You taught them not to speak. You taught them not to bring everything that needs to be said to you. So yes, the child is not going to. It's not every time people have to threaten them. I say to my children, you say a 16-year-old threatened you. So I take them out and I look for the neighbor. I look for a cousin. I look for a friend. I look for someone in school that is 16 years. And I say to them, look at Tunde. That 16-year-old, that's the person that wants to kill you. Can he kill you? Like, really, you're afraid of this 16-year-old. You are afraid of this 16-year-old over me. You are afraid of this 16-year enough that you cannot trust that I, in all of my big elements, can save you from that tiny little 16-year-old that you knew when he was 8. So yes, a lot of times it's not because they threatened them or because they don't have the common sense to recognize that some of these people that threatened them, cannot do so much to them. It's because you've taken away the voice of your child. So a lot of times we are the ones that take away their voice by all those many, you can say no, you can't say that. So yes, the moment your child has reached the age where he can say no to you, it means the child understands that he is an autonomy. That is the point where you make the child recognize that you are responsible for yourself at certain level. So yes, let your 2-year-old or 3-year-old, let them know that, it's your responsibility to take your pants and drop it in the laundry basket. Let them know that it's your responsibility to take your plates to the kitchen after you have finished eating with it. Let them know that it's their responsibility to get what they've used, a place for a thing and a thing for a place. Teach your children that everything has a place and every place has a thing. So when they finish using their toys, okay, clean up, everybody do your share, clean up, let them sing with you and do their share. Your share is, it's your toy. You're done with your chore. Clean up, everybody do their share. Do your share, honey. Take your toy and put your toy in the right place. Stop calling Agnes to go and clear up after your children have finished playing. You are not allowing your child recognize that he is responsible for himself. So let your children be responsible. As they grow older, from 3 to 4, let your children wash their 5 and 6, let them wash their socks. Let them wash their pants. Okay, so I was in the bathroom the other day with my daughter and she was washing her underwear, her pants and her socks. So for now, that's all she does. Okay, she doesn't have to do it so well, but she is going to have to practice and she's going to do it over and over again. That's where mastery is going to come. So no, I am not telling you to send your 5-year-old to the bathroom to go, to the laundry or wherever to go and wash their stuff all by themselves. I'm saying this is the time that you do it with them. So you can grab one and you say, oh, honey, grab your own. And then I rub the soap and I hand her the soap and I rub your own. Or you pour in the detergent and you take it and you go to the middle. Okay, so we wash here first and you go. The child is not going to do it perfect. Well, the first time, the second time, probably even the 5th time, but you're going to hang in there until they become experts at it. I've watched my son try to fold his things for so many years that today, when you open my son's wardrobe, you're like, damn, right? When you open his wardrobe, you're like, damn, he does it so well. How he transitions to the point where he can do it this well, I can't even say this is the point. But with practice comes mastery. Okay, with practice comes mastery. The next one is home management. As soon as your children are 5 and 6, let them be a part of managing your home. Let them understand the things, okay? Let them understand. Okay, when I talked about personal management, okay, I talked about washing their stuff. I mean, let them come back from school, take their bags and put their bag in the right place. Don't let your children come and dump their bag and then go in to go and lie down. And then Agnes will be, in fact, some of us, we are talking of bringing it in. Some of us, the children highlight from the car and walk into the house. The house helps to go and empty the car. No, this service parents doing a disservice to these children. Your child is not going to learn to thrive. Your child is not going to have the skills to thrive on their own when they think that they should walk away. Some other person will carry their backpack. That's why they will go to Ukraine and they will not be able to stand up and hit the road like every other person because they are waiting for someone to bring their backpack. A lot of us launch our children. We launch so many children out there. We launch so many children out there that do not even have the skills to thrive. And then when you're 30 and 40, we begin to see all kinds of rubbish. Oh, this person, this person, that. No boundaries because he doesn't have discipline. It's nothing else. We begin to argue all kinds of unnecessary arguments. Oh, it's our culture. It's our culture today. We do not look at the skills that is required for a man to do a certain thing, for a woman to do a certain thing. Self-control, self-management, discipline, and all of that. It starts right from when they're 0 to 7. If you did not teach discipline at that point, at 40, he will not know discipline. He will be all over the place and he will use all kinds of excuses to explain why he should be. Excuses. That's what they are. All right? Home management. Okay? Don't do things for your children that your children can do. Okay? So get into the kitchen with your children. Why is your 6-year-old not in the kitchen with you? If she cannot cook the meal, she can beat the egg. If she cannot cook anything, she can peel the bouillon cube for you. She can peel Maggi for you. If she cannot do anything, she can measure 6 cups of rice for you. If she cannot do anything, she can stir. My daughter's potty, her old potty, is permanently in my kitchen. All she needs to do is pull the potty, mount herself on top of it, and she's tall enough to do anything. So yes, she cannot cook the whole meal, but she can stir the pot for you. While you're taking a leak, while you're going to talk with daddy, while you're talking with mommy in the room for a bit, your child is there. She can stir the soup for you and it doesn't get burnt because you are empowered. You have a 6-year-old in your home. You have such huge human resources. Come on. Okay, that child, within that child is such huge human resource. Why are your children watching movies? Why are they playing while you are cooking? Why are they not in the kitchen with you? Why are your children not sorting the clothes in the laundry? Why are your children not mounting the washing machine? Why aren't they taking the clothes off the washing machine? The other day when my daughter and I had finished with all of our pants and all of her socks and all of that, I said to her, grab it, go pick the pegs, go out, and then spread them. She went, she spread them, and she came back. In the evening, I asked her, your things in? And she's like, no, mommy, go get them. And then she gets them. And then, hey, we fold them. And then she goes this way, she spreads them, she bends them. It won't be perfect, but it's okay. Okay, our children need to do. This is how they will thrive, knowing that they have, when they do these things, that's when they begin to believe in their own abilities. When they do these things, that's the reason you are in a boardroom or you are in a team at the office and they're asking who's going to do this, and everybody is looking at a particular person. Maybe I will do it for us now. Maybe I will do it for every time. Maybe I will do it because maybe is the one that has had to do it and knows how to, has mastery in it. So the boss that is sitting there every time, Mary Beth is the one doing it. Tomorrow there's promotion, he will ask you, right? It's not Mary Beth that will get it, isn't it? All right. So basically, let's raise our children to be able to tend for themselves. Okay. The next one I've talked about home management. Number 5 is going to be let your children set goals and create plans to achieve those goals. Teach your children that they have the capacity to stretch themselves. If your children are not setting goals, then your children do not know what it means to be slaves to their goals. So the children wake up every morning, even my 6-year-old, what am I doing? That's my 6-year-old's diary, okay? And then she wakes up every morning and she sets goals for herself every morning. Right there are her goals, and that's her ticking. I don't know if you can see. So that's her ticking the goals, that she's achieved for the day. We're not saying they will achieve them 100%, but you are sowing the seeds for kind of way of thinking and navigating. Life is about goals and plans to achieve those goals and achieving those goals. That's what life is about. That is what companies set goals. They set targets. When you go to work with Google, you have targets. When you're working with, when you're working with wherever you work, right? You have targets for the year. If you're a salesman, you've got targets for the year. As a customer service client, client manager, you have targets for the year. As a business, you have targets for the year. As an entrepreneur, you have targets for your company for the year. So yes, life is about targets, isn't it? Life is about goals and how to achieve those goals and achieving those goals. How do we rate our success, or how do we rate our progress? How do we evaluate ourselves? How do we evaluate and review if we have not set goals and have plans? So let your children, this is a skill that they will need when they are 18 and 20 and 30. So why won't you be the one to sow the seeds and allow them to start thinking that way? So yes, let children set goals. This is what we do in the mastermind program. Okay, so our son runs a program called the Mastermind Circle. In the Mastermind Circle, this is what the children do. The children set goals every term. They set goals every term, and those goals are broken down to monthly goals, weekly goals, and they have daily goals. They have assignments, everything tied to their goals. We want children to understand accountability. We want children to take responsibility for themselves. It's not going to happen. A man who is not responsible at 30, it is not because something happened to him at 29. It is because at 7, he was not responsible. He was not taught responsibility. So no, don't wait for your children to go to NYSC. Just when, like really, when are you going to treat them these skills? And these are not skills that, schools will teach your children per se. These are skills that the school will expect your children to apply. So when they give them homework and they give them group work and all that, they expect them to apply these skills. But you are the one that would teach these skills in the first place. Why is your child relaxed, not achieving a goal? Why is your child not achieving a goal? Why is your child not done his homework or not done his project and it does not bother him? Why is your child not target driven? So we need to raise children. Let your children set goals. Let them set daily goals. Let them create plans to achieve those goals. Let them set weekly goals. Let them set monthly goals. Let your children be goal-oriented. Very key. Number 8, do trip. Okay, so eventually, let your children begin to run errands around. It starts from when they are little. So you see the African thing, they say, the African parents actually, we stay next, we joke about it every time. The remote control is right there by your side, but you must call your child to come and pick it. I've been thinking, I thought about it and I realized, it's actually a strategy. There's actually some learning strategy or parenting strategy right in that action. Okay, our children will need to learn to run errands. Okay, so your 1-year-old, your 2-year-old needs to learn to run errands for you, or run errands or do stuff. And then usually you want to teach them how to do that. You want to teach that skills. So this skills do not have to be taught on whiteboard. I've said that it is in the action. So you want to teach your child, to run errands, to do things. You won't actually call them from the room and say, go get me this thing from there. So I do it with the kids. I just send you so that you get used to being asked to do things around. So yes, that thing where you call a child and you say, come on, a child is playing, and you call them in and then they begin to frown. I don't know it. I'm not joking. I'm not pretending. I don't know it. Whenever I call my 12-year-old, he answers, yes, mommy, and I ask him to do it, and I say, I got you, mommy. That's all. That's the response I get. Yes, he might be slow about it. Yes, he might drag his feet a bit about it. But hey, he would do it. The response is not usually frowning or anger and everything like that. Yes, it's in the middle of a game with a friend or something like that, and I call him, and he has to do it. Of course, he would rather finish the game. Sometimes I'll hear, mommy, please, can I just finish this one 2 minutes? I will hear something like that. Oh, yeah. Okay, I have to go. My mom is calling me. This are the kind of response that. So let them get used to being sent. Send them on those little errands here and there. And then after that, up it as they get older. Let them go out. Get matches from Malam, not necessarily because you need it, but because you need to teach your child to go out on his own and feel safe going out on his own. You need to. Until your child is going able to do that trip to Malam and come back, he will not know that he's able to. All right, it is from there that you begin to go to the market. I mean, I go to a local market. I put my son in the car 6 a.m. and we head out to a local market. We go there and price things and, all of that. All of it is building skills, basically. A time will come, you would have to send them to go do it on their own. You would have to. After all, you send the 12-year-old that you go and bring from Oncha. You bring them and then you send them all around the place, but you can't send your 14-year-old. I mean, should thyself be truthful? Thyself be truthful. Okay, so very important, very important. With time, your children will have to learn to travel on their own. My kids have not done that yet. My son has not traveled on his own, but their children will already travel on their own, right? So for us, it's a goal. It's one of the things that we will have to do very soon. But then again, before you allow them do these things, you will have to you will have to train them to do these things. You have to train them, you have to model for them, you have to guide them and all of that, and then be free to let them do it. Practice, 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 and then be free to let them do it. Very key. All right, quickly we're going. Let them start an endeavor, number 8 or number 9. Okay, I said traveling, do things on their own, run errands around. Very key. That's number 9. No, number 8. Number 9 is allow your child to start an endeavor that allows them earn money. So teach your children money sense. Teach them money sense. Teach them, about money sense, finances, and all of that. We have a course that is coming up just after the conference. Okay, it's all about teaching you how to help your children have financial awareness and bringing in experts from the financial world to have that will break financial knowledge to you in a way that your children can come in and begin to think think about financial literacy, how to interact with money, how to use money, and then how to create wealth, not from a place of having everything without doing anything. We want to teach your children about wealth, creating value, and how you can sustain and create wealth in a way that is honorable. We need to teach our children this, give our children this knowledge. If we're not doing it, our children are going to take all the knowledge that they see all over the place on social media, that they hear. Their mindset about wealth is going to be warped if you don't teach them the right mindset about wealth. And it's not all about, let me tell you, all this hush puppy. If you are like him, this is that. You see how it ended. It's not in the instruction as much as it is in the doing. So by the time your children are 8 and 9 and 10, let them do an endeavor that will allow them give value, and let payment or money be the reward for that value. Let your children attach earning with value. Okay, let them attach earning with value. So it could be anything. It could be that you have certain tasks in your home. Let your children do chores. I'm not saying go and pay your children for doing chores for you. Let there be specific tasks in your home that can earn money. Okay, things that if your children are not doing it to earn money, you will be paying some other person to do it to earn money anyway. So if your children are going to take that away from you and do it so that you don't have to bring in some other person, then they can be paid for such task. So look at your house, look at your dynamics, and see the kind of things that you can attach an earning to. Let your children, if they're interested in certain things, let them start small businesses around it. My son runs a juice company. He's been selling juices for 3 years. But it wasn't about the juice and the money. At first, from his entrepreneur club. It was whatever the vision behind it was. But we hijacked that vision when he was done with the club and he said he wanted to continue. We hijacked it and used it to teach him many other skills. At some point, I noticed that my son had some gaps in his social skills. We have been working on his social skills for some years. I am still working on my son's social skills. That's because he is a phlegmatic, melancholic, and that's another thing. A lot of us destroy our phleg and our melancholic children, okay, because we don't understand their temperament and we don't understand our place as parents in their life. No, our children who are choleric and sanguine can, they can wiggle their way out of being subdued or suppressed by us, because by their temperament, they are all over the place. So your child that is boisterous and all over the place, you can do all the, will you sit down? Will you do this? Will you do that? Will you do this? Will you do that? You can do all of that and you will not kill the spirit of that child. Okay, the child still manages to find themselves, okay, even in the midst of your shaming and pulling down and shouting and screaming and all of that. They still, because of their temperament, they still manage to wiggle. But your melancholic and your phlegmatic children may not be, okay, because by nature they are introverted, they are cool, calm like that and all of that. They're introverted and all of that, and you're killing their spirits. Okay, I have said this before. At the beginning of my parenting, the one thing that my husband and I didn't get right when we started parenting was discipline. We didn't get our discipline and emotional intelligence, or we didn't get it right. So our son got a lot. I mean, he got the full, the full, how would I put it now? As I always say, it is your children that are the casualty of your lack of parenting or your negative parenting or your ignorance in parenting. So he was the casualty of that phase of our lives. And unfortunately, that was the first phase of his life, between 0 and 5. That period that was very crucial. So there were a lot of things, all the yelling and all the, you can't do this, all of that. So yes, when I became intentional, I was first intentional before my husband became intentional. I started this journey first. So when parents come and say, oh, what if your husband is not watching? I say to you, calm down. It's okay. You both don't have to be on the same page at the same time. It is how you handle this journey and how you go about it. I was in an Uber ride today because my car wouldn't, I finished having a conversation with the children, dropped them in school and all of that. When I finished from that trip, during the course of that trip, I go into a conversation with the driver, and he's a parent and all of that. From everything that happened in the car, I guess he started a conversation, around parenting because of how our day, the period we spent with him, all that he saw and all of that. By the time we finished, he said that his wife doesn't want his son to go to school, okay, at a particular age because she wants to homeschool and all of that. But he doesn't want. He just wants that. By the time I finished with him, he said, man, it's as if you and my wife go to the same school and all of that. I'm like, so who is she? Where is she? Are you sure she's not in this and all of that? By the time he told me, she's actually a parent. She's actually an intentional, and all of that, So there's a difference. There is a difference. Do you understand? So yes, you do not always have to be on the same page. Hang in there. Imagine how I have, without that woman knowing, imagine how I have helped her do part of the job that she's probably been struggling with. Because by the time I was done, he was like, man, I get it. So that's a husband that will probably go home, and the next time that conversation comes up, he will actually say, it's okay, he can do it. But she will not know. Do you understand? So you just don't know. Just be on your game. Do your thing. You don't know where he will get his eureka moment. You don't know where he will get, that moment. Basically, just be on your lane. They will come around, basically. Results do not hide. That's the truth about it. So yes, why do you want to struggle to help your child unlearn when you can help them learn the right thing firsthand? There are a lot of struggles I don't have with my second. There's a lot of struggle I don't have with my daughter because, hey, we were on the journey. So it was easy to get it right from the beginning. No social skill. We don't struggle with a lot of things, basically. So we have to pay attention to what we're doing, because it's your child that will be the casualty of your lack of parenting, poor parenting, or whatever. All right, quickly, let's finish up. The next one is allow them make decisions. I wish I could dwell on this, but we have to go because our time is up. I really wish I could dwell on this. Okay, but there's so much around here. Give your children choices. Give your children choices. Hey, sweetie, would you like to wear this or you would like to wear that? Hey, sweetie, would you have to do this or you would like to do that? Okay, give them those choices. You must have weighed the choices, and you can see that either way, it's a win-win anyway. But present those choices. Your children feel like they are individuals. They feel their autonomy when they're able to make those decisions, or when you give them those choices. They feel like they're the ones making the decision. So give them two, three choices. As they grow older, give them three choices. Okay, for your younger kids, give them two choices. You want the canvas or you want the slipper? You want So give them choices like that. Explain to your children why they can't have what you're saying they can have. Don't just say no to your children. Let them know why they can't, why something cannot happen. Okay? You can't go for the party. Why can't you go? Why can't I go for the party? You can't go for the party because you have a cold. If you go in there, you could actually infect another child. And I do not want you to do that because you have a bad cold. So your sister is going to go alone and she will come and tell you what happened there. Do you understand, sweetie? Get your children to understand the reason why or why they cannot do or have certain things. Very key. Okay, teach your children to resolve conflict. It is not every time. Who said it first? Who said it first? You. No, let your children, allow them the opportunity to resolve their conflict. Not only are you going to teach them, first of all, right? Come in, teach them. Have conversations about conflict. Have policies around conflict resolution. If you cannot come to a conclusion after about 5 minutes, then you bring it to mommy. But give them a chance to try to resolve their conflict. And in doing that, try not to take sides. Because the more times you take sides, the more you separate your children. Okay? What you want to do, you want your children to bond. So you want to give them the opportunity to feel like they are resolving their problems on their own. When we can resolve problems, we understand each other more and we become more connected. So give your children the opportunity to resolve their conflicts on their own. Okay? And also accountability. Accountability, very key. My son runs the mastermind program. That's a program that we curated together. So that's a program that we run together. That's a program that we sit down and have strategic sessions about. Okay, he runs his business and I am his auditor. Okay, I audit his business. We do that business together. I do a lot of the buying. I am his procurement officer. Okay, even if he's making the calls to his suppliers, I am the one that will pick it for him eventually and all of that. I am the one that will say to him, this is how much we paid eventually and all of that. Be in partnership with your child. Have that thing that you do together. Let there be accountability. Let your children do things and let them be able to hold them, let them be accountable for what they do. Let them create that relationship where they can say to you, this is what I did, this is why I did, this is why I did it, and all of that. Let your children know for everything that they do, let them know that they're going to be held accountable. Okay, and then lastly, I'm giving you a bonus. 11, be the mentor to your child. You have to model what you want your children to do. So in all of these things that I've just read here, we just talked about, there is the place of modeling. What are you modeling? You will have to teach first, okay, and then get them to practice. You will teach first and get them to practice. You will have to model this to your children, okay? And then, of course, because you are a mentor parent, because you are a model, you must allow your children to hold you accountable. So you can't say to your children, do this, do this, do that, do that. And then the day you go against it, they cannot say to you, but mommy, you did this, in contrast to what you have said we should do. Okay, don't make your children think that you are alpha and omega. Let your children know that they can hold you accountable. And when they do, if you are in the wrong, be glad, be willing to apologize to your children. I'm sorry, sweetie. I know I did that wrong. I've had an altercation with a road safety person, and my daughter actually said to me, but mommy, you are a king. Kings don't throw themselves in mud. Why did you have to raise your voice at her too? And that day, it was her brother that came to my rescue. And he said, but Ada, she kept on saying mommy did something that mommy did not do. And mommy did not say anything until she started yelling at mommy. So mommy had to stand up for herself because you stand up for bullies. This stand up to bullies. These are my two children trying to hold me accountable, trying to use our values, right, to understand and to analyze a situation. At the end of the day, I turned to the both of them and I said, you are both right. I shouldn't have allowed her drag me to her level. One, right? Two, yeah, I just thought I needed to stand up for myself. Okay, but then again, I could have simply walked out of the situation. Okay, I could have simply walked out of the situation, or simply I could have said to her, you would have to speak to my lawyer. Simple, and then shut her there. Okay, so basically, we want to put our children in a space where they're able to think, they're able to reason, they're able to navigate. When they find themselves in certain situations, they can bring all of these skills together and then use that to navigate. Thank you very much. If you have not registered for the conference, please, this is your reminder. If you're not registered for the PTM conference, this is your reminder. Go right now and register. And as I said, you can't be on this journey alone. Your friends, your brother, your sister, your neighbor, your colleague, the people that your children have that have access to your children need to be on the same page with you. That is when your work is easier. So that when you drop them with their auntie, you drop them with your friend, because you will need to drop them off with someone sometimes, because you can't come and kill yourself. Sometimes you will need some me time, or you will need to attend to other things, but you want to be sure of where you're dropping your children. And it will be easier to drop them anywhere if the people that you're dropping them with have the same set of value, think the same way, have the same parenting ideas or the same parenting mindset as you are. Okay, you have. So if you have any friend who is not here right now, okay, this is your perfect excuse to invite them to the conference. Okay, oh, come for this parenting conference. It is free, and indeed it is free, because some of us are paying the price. Okay, I've heard Christabel has not rested. She's been all over the place. Well done, Christabel. Thank you very much for all you do for the academy. Christabel is all over the place, right? Fixing, getting things fixed behind the scenes. So yes, people are paying the price. Christabel's got a family, she's got children also, and she's here trying to make sure that these things are working. Our graphics people, our volunteers are working behind the scene. The speakers are putting their lesson together. They're going to pay their data. We are all doing all of this to bring this conference free to you. You do not want to miss it. So bring as many people. That's the least you can do. Bring as many people. It's humanitarian, first of all. And then, of course, you will be giving back also. Thank you very much for everyone who made it here today. I can't see any questions. Thank you, Kema, Ngozi. Thank you. Hey, Akugo, I see you. Valerie, everyone who's been here, thank you very much for being a part of the session today. We do not take it for granted that you show up, right? And we do not take it for granted that you allow us be a part of your parenting journey. If you have got value from this session today, let us know that you got value. Someone who needs to see this video, tag them so that they come and see this video. Thank you very much. Have a blessed rest of the day and a lovely weekend ahead. Bye. Thank you.